I saw my guardian angel who appeared at the most difficult moment of my life. Before I go into this article, I want to tell you two true events. One that I witnessed myself, and another that was told to me by my goddaughter concerning her brother who was a deep sea diver in the North Sea. Now, the first one has to do with a guardian angel that we saw during a baptism at our church, in the Christian Orthodox Church of the Little Capotat, the shanty town that at the end of each video I tell you about, the people that we help, that you help actually, through your watching my videos and the Patreon account as well. Now, as we were taking, they didn't have a photographer. We were taking pictures with our cameras, videos and pictures. And as I was taking pictures during the beginning of the baptism, where he denounces, the godmother has to denounce the existence of the evil one. Well, the priest was saying the words, reading them from his little book, from the baptismal sacrament. And next to the priest, we saw of uncreated light, a beautiful angel of light, uncreated light. You know it's uncreated because they're light bodies. It's a beautiful white and iridescent color. Of course, they have no wings, okay? He was beautiful. He was standing next to the priest with his hands on his waist, looking down at the little boy. And I didn't see it with my eyes, but I saw it through the screen of my camera. And I called one of my friends over because she was shocked she noticed how shocked I was. And she came over and said to me, "What's the matter?" Like hand language, because I wouldn't talk. And she looked at the screen. I pointed to the screen. I said, "What is that?" Always with hand language. And she said, "That's an angel." I said, "Yes, that's what I thought." But I couldn't see it with my eyes when we saw it on the screen. That happens many times because the camera picks up frequencies that our eyes can't pick up. Well, I went to my father confessor and I told him this. He says, "Yeah, that happens. There are many times when the camera picks up things that we can't see with our human eyes." So that's one event that the guardian angel was waiting. That would obviously was his guardian angel waiting for him to finish the baptismal sacrament. There are many times when people witness angels during a baptism. There's books written on this. If you read on this concerning, maybe I should find some stories and put them on my videos of real accounts. The next is at the wedding of my goddaughter, which took place in the island of Mykonos, a beautiful wedding, a beautiful island. Her family came from England, and they were from London, by the way, and they had their wedding, Christian Orthodox wedding. She was English. She was baptized into Orthodoxy. She married this man who was Orthodox, and her parents came, her brother, and she told me that her brother, a very handsome guy, very well off, because, these deep sea divers, they get paid a lot of money because their life is at risk every time they go down. And she told me what happened to him. Of course, he was young, very handsome, very tall, very wowish, tall, dark, and handsome. And anyway, and living the lifestyle of that. And she told me that in one dive, they always go down in pairs, 2 by 2. They never go down alone because it's so dangerous that if something happens to one, the second one has to give the signal that they have to come up immediately, right? So he went down alone this one time because the second one couldn't go with him. And he was scared, really, really scared for his life. And because they have to go down and check, the pillars every day, the pilings every single day. They do this. That's their job, to make sure that the deep sea platforms are properly, in place in case of a storm or whatever, that they don't just buckle over, So that's their job. So he was scared. He says, "If anything happens to me here, I'm going to die here. Nobody will be able to help me." And that's when he saw Christ in front of him. And he said, "Why are you afraid? Don't worry, I'm with you. So don't be afraid." His soul knew that it was Christ. And when he came up, he told everybody, he told his family. And I asked my goddaughter, I said, "Did that change his life?" She said, "No." Well, Well, when you're a handsome guy, I mean, it's difficult for women to stay away from you. I mean, what could you do? I shouldn't laugh. But he had that experience. Now let's go into the article. I'm translating this again from Greek, written from Diadrastika from Spiros Makris. He said, I saw my guardian angel who appeared at the most difficult moment of my life. A man who claims to have had paranormal experiences in the past has come up with something very new, very strange. His angel, the angel of his soul. Now, some of his strange experiences when he went to Mount Shasta, he reported this as to his strange experience when he went to Mount Shasta, where he saw a lot of lights on the slope. So he thought he must have been, there must have been a car, car headlights skirting around the mountain, but they were not headlights of a car or anything like that. He had also seen orbs passing by him slowly and reaching about 30 feet in height. But what happened to him next was something else. His name was Adam, and Adam was found to be in a very strange, difficult moment of his life. He had recently broken up with his partner. Another girl also had passed away a few years earlier. And now this one had fallen into depression. One day he sat down on the sidewalk. He had fallen into depression. One day he sat down on the sidewalk and just started crying for almost an hour. After a while, a strange thing happened to him. Out of nowhere, a lady approached him and touched him on the shoulder and asked him if he could somehow, if she could somehow help him. His first thought was, don't bother, don't be another Christian who wants to pray for me. But he finally answered, can you help me not to waste my life? That was his answer to her. Or something like that, as he was very bitter and angry. So they kept on talking for a while, and among other things, the strange lady said to him, something accidental prompted me and led me to get here to you, to this place, and to walk near you, straight to you. Right? Then a mysterious woman began talking about herself and how she broke her rib, and how she learned so much about life through her injury. Suddenly he said to her, she said to him, your name is Adam, right? He didn't wait for it. He had lost it. And while he admitted that that was indeed his name, he looked around to see if any of his friends who were hiding in some place had put this woman towards him, to his side as a prank. So he didn't see any figure he knew hiding in the corners of the straits or behind the trees. And the strange woman continued to speak. She said, you will change this world. You will use your talents to bring true joy, progress, and change to this world. Now Adam was looking at her like he was the loser, the big-time loser. But the big surprise came when the literally weird lady started talking about some other things in her life, very personal things she could not have known otherwise, nor had she to his life. She kept on talking about things that were very personal things in his life that nobody knew of. And she could not have known otherwise. Nor had she learned from her friends or his relatives, none of them, because they didn't know. Unless this person was present as an invisible presence in his home, but that was, of course, not possible. So how was it possible to know all this? What caused it? How is it that this lady knew all these things about his deep personal life that he had not told anybody? And then she assured him that it was not she who spoke to him, but that God was speaking through her. The man broke he was shocked. It really shook him. He didn't know whether he should laugh or cry to what she had told him. He would have laughed at her if she had not described to him his personal things, personal actions and thoughts that only he could have known. When he recovered from the surprise, he begged to find what her name was, and she said, "They call her Natalie." And then he offered her something to eat, but he was not hungry. He had already eaten earlier, but if he hadn't done so, his appetite for this unexpected, strange experience would surely have gone away. If he could understand well, he was talking to an angel in human form. Was this his guardian angel who appeared at the right time to prevent perhaps some future tragic action of his? Whatever it was definitely a paranormal experience. Did all this backdrop give birth? Was it all a figment of his imagination? He felt the need to thank God who sent this person to him, as well as the guardian angel who appeared before him in a moment of utter despair. And since then, he has never seen her. So it seems like some kind of an angel in the form of a lady, an elderly lady, did visit him. Now, I want to tell you something else that happened to a woman of 18 years old, a newly married girl in Sparta, Athens, Greece, near the airport of Athens, Greece. And she was 18 years old in 1938. And there, at that time, there were houses, very sparse buildings in the area. Basically, it was a farming area, very few houses there. And at that time, you know, when a traveler came to your door and asked for something, you would help him because there were miles of walking otherwise. And the first time someone came, it was a young beggar. He asked her for some food, and she gave it to him. Another time, it was an older monk, and he asked for some food, and she gave it to him. And both times, these people were, of course, strangers, and they were talking about Christ. And the third time, a younger monk came, and again, he asked for some food. She gave it to him, and he sat down and had it. And they were talking about Christ. And this, all the whole time, you know, because she was newly married, her husband was a builder, you know, a bricklayer, and he would be coming home very tired and hungry every day, and famished actually. And she would make a pot of stew or something, or beans, and after she gave some to the strangers, she said, "Oh no, my goodness, I won't have enough food for my husband. He's going to start getting angry with me." And she said, "What are you doing feeding strangers where I'm coming home and I don't have enough food to eat?" And anyway, every time these strangers would leave, her pot was flooding over from food. Something happened, and it was like the volume was greatly increased. And the last time he came to her, knocking on the door, and she thought it was another stranger, and he revealed to her that the whole time it was Christ visiting her. After that, he told her what would happen, that there would be the Second World War coming because of people's sins. And he gave her a special grace to be able to see people's sins and to also bring them to conversion. And a lot of other things. I have to make another video on that. Her name was Eleni Danilidou of Sparta. And since then, they constructed a very big cathedral there. Not very big, but quite a big church. That's where the bishopry of Sparta is, of Lavrio. And he told her that one of the lost pieces from his tomb of Jerusalem was buried there somewhere, and they did find it. It was a piece that was missing from his tomb, a corner of it, and they have it on the side of the church. The people, so we have a piece of his, a little piece of stone from his tomb. That's what he wanted to reveal to her. So there are angels around us. We don't always see them. Sometimes we see them, you know, through our cameras. Other times we see them. It's a personal blessing. When we are baptized in the Christian church, we are given a guardian angel. So yes, they do help us, obviously, even though we don't know they're around us. They are around us. So that's a wonderful story. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.